Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Motorsport Manager. So it's race day for Milan, one of the tracks that we've struggled on in the past because of how top speed oriented it is. And we do have projected rain. Now, we don't know how bad it's going to be, but for right now it's sunny, so we'll just go ahead and go out there with the normal strategy, more or less. Now, I am going with the strategy with soft tires on Mustafa's car and medium tires on Boris's car. Now, this may very well be a mistake because of how far back we're going to be. Normally, if there was not going to be any rain, I would probably go even more conservative than we are going right now. I would probably go with hard and medium. Hard with Boris and medium with Mustafa. But I don't think that's a good plan when we're going to have rain coming in. The problem is I don't know if soft tires are going to be great for when that rain's going to come in, but we can't have our two cars putting at the same time, so I'm going to have to figure out something. In any case, let's go ahead and start the race. I have push for both cars, at least out the gate. I might go even more aggressive with Mustafa's car. We'll have to see with the temperatures. It is a little bit warmer than it was during practice, so I'm not sure how these tires will behave 100%, but let's go ahead and start the race. Now, we're going to be pretty far back, especially with Boris's car. He'll be almost all the way in the back. He's going to be in 19th. And we see here Mustafa's going to be in 14th. So it's going to be kind of tough because we're going to have the entire pack in front of us. As a matter of fact, we do see the guy in last place here going with hard tires, which honestly I think is kind of the right call if you're that far back in the pack to kind of play the endurance game and use pitch strategy. You know your car's better if you're back in the back like this because of the way that our series works. So you just use the better pitch strategy to get yourself ahead, and then you use the better performance of your car to maintain that position. But again, that rain kind of throws a wrench in that whole plan. So let's go ahead and continue here. And here we go. Again, we're going to be pushing initially to get temperature in those tires. I'm not exactly sure how the soft tires are going to do as far as those temperatures go. So I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to push them. But once we get close to this corner, I may go with full-on attack here. And then we'll go to medium for just the push strategy. And I might go back onto attack here. So right now we're in 15th and 19th. We're actually losing positions quite a bit. All right, so we had a little bit of pack shenanigans going on there. So we'll go back to push. All right, so we're in 18th and 19th, and this is exactly what I was afraid of. Our two cars are going to be practically on top of each other. So as a result, we have to do different pitch strategy. But again, the rain is going to be giving us a problem there. It's going to be rather hard, I think, to get the cars in when they need to get in with the wetter tires. I may be able to stay out a little bit longer here. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to see. Let's go on full attack here. Maybe we'll be able to make up some ground while we're in the corners. As a matter of fact, Boris is getting past Mustafa there. And now Mustafa's getting close to the back. Go ahead and back off on his tires. They're warm enough. We just have to play it. Alright, so we do manage to fight back for 19th, but this guy here is the guy that's in first place. So he's going to be tough to beat, and we see that indeed he does beat us. But we are catching up to the guy in 19th right now. Now we will get positions here just because as much as we don't have the greatest top speed, there's going to be cars out there that are even worse than we are. I think I'm going to go back onto the push strategy for Mustafa here. All right, so right now we're in 18th and 19th. Again, our cars are practically right on top of each other. I think Mustafa might give Boris a little bit of a gap here because of the more aggressive strategy we've been using. I'm not really sure when I want to back off on the pushing strategy with his tires because they're still on the cool side. And if I go to a neutral strategy, we will lose some of that, or it will cool off pretty quickly. Oh, wow, we're in 5th and 6th. And that was just pitch strategy there, I think. I'm going to go ahead and plan... Crap. The way this rain is coming in, I probably should have pitted with Mustafa. Oof. There's no way he's going to get around to when it's wet. I mean, Boris will easily be able to do that. We have him pit now. Maybe attack with his tires and pit now. Get some softs on there and only for, like use them for a brief amount of time. Oh, that's going to suck. I know we're going to lose a lot of positions doing that strategy, but hopefully it will work okay. Because I know his tires are not going to last long enough for the rain. Then the rain comes in, and we're going to need to change, because otherwise we'll be very slow. Boris, on the other hand, will be able to stay out. As a matter of fact, I'm really tempted to go on neutral strategy here. Okay, so we should be pitting with Mustafa here. And I'll switch his strategy back to push. Although, technically we could go attack here because we're probably going to be changing the tires rather shortly. We'll stay with Boris for now. We had a bad pit there, but we're going to get out, I think, reasonably well. Okay, so we had a little bit of problem with the refueling. Now, the car in fourth is, interestingly enough, coming out. Now, it's probably because of tire life, not because of the weather, because the weather's not bad enough yet. And I'm going to try and push it with Boris and keep him out. One more lap. We're in first, which is good. He's going to have to come in next lap just because of fuel. So we might as well tell him to do that. I'm hoping by the time he gets in that intermediates will be okay. We definitely won't need wets. It's quite possible this is the wrong move, but we'll see. And it's going to be a 9-second pit. So hopefully he can make up some ground here with the fact that he did not pit. We're actually doing remarkably well. And here should be coming in the rain at this point. And I think it will be wet enough for those intermediates. As a matter of fact, I think we really need to start thinking about pitting with Mustafa as well. Let's see, what are the other cars doing? Because we're going to see the car in second and third come in here pretty soon. And we'll have to see here. None of them pitted. Although we do see the guy here and 20th on intermediates, so that's probably the right call. I have to make that decision right now, though, so I'm going to go ahead and pit. We're going to go back onto a neutral strategy, though, so that we are not pushing the tires out the gate, having me forget about it. We might as well fuel up. I mean, why not? But we'll do a fast pit here. It's 5 seconds. It might hurt Mustafa quite a bit here, but hopefully... strategically wise, there'll be enough water on the track that it will be okay. And Boris is going to lose a lot of positions, but I'm hoping that when he comes out, there's going to be enough water on track to justify the intermediates. Which, we're starting to build it up. May have been a little early, but everybody else came out, so that was the right call. Now I just have to keep an eye on the temperatures and make sure we're not running, too cool because of the cooler temperature anyway. Although the temperature is starting to come up. Oh, no. It's not going to dry off. It's not going to dry off sufficiently anyway. So it looks like intermediates are going to be the way to go. Maybe even wets at the end of the track, the race, because look how much it's going to rain at the end. All right, so we're in first and 12th here. Strategy-wise, or, our position. Strategy-wise, we're going to go with push so we can get some temperature into those tires. All right, now the time to stay out on the track is here. We're going to try and endure. And our two cars, I think, are separated enough that we're not going to have to worry about pitting at the same time. So we can have them pit on the same laps if we want to. Boris is going to have a little bit of problems just because, on a fuel standpoint, he's going to have less fuel than Mustafa because he had later pit, but it's not that big of a difference. The car in second is catching up to us, though, it looks like. Temperatures are starting to become more normal, so I'll go back to a neutral stance. And tire life should be better. The AI has a habit of pushing their tires a lot harder. That should mean that we will be faster out here. We may have to switch to wet tires at the end of the race because of how wet it's going to get. We'll have to see. I'll try and last as long as I can on these tires. But we're going to have to come in 4 laps anyway. It's going to be tough deciding on what to do. We might have to do extra pitting more than we normally would. Alright, we're going to have to go on to a push strategy, I think. There's no way that these tires are going to last long enough, I think, to get to that period anyway. Car in second is right on our butt. Now, that is not, I think, Lucatelli, so... Ooh, wow, this guy must really be pushing his car hard because he's having some mechanical problems. We are lapping guys now, which is kind of the downside of this track. This guy is having to pit. If he is having to repair parts, that might be good for us. Mustafa's up into 4th, which is fantastic. We are going to have to pit probably, well, in two laps for sure. Doing some more lapping here. Now, we have a huge gap here. Because the car in second had to pit, that's going to be really fantastic for us. Now, the rain's going to start coming back on here, and it's going to be rather wet. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and pit with Boris just to get it over with. His tire life is starting to get to the point where we would think about doing that anyway. We could have him go out one more lap. You know what? Why not? We'll have him go out one more lap. It may make the difference in being able to switch over to wet tires rather than intermediates, because it's going to be rather wet here, and we're going to want to have the best tires for that. So now that he went around, we're going to definitely need to tell him to pit now. The strategy here, I think we do go with wets, because it will be wet enough on the track for them, and it will be really wet beyond what the intermediates can handle at the end of the race. So these might be slow when we first change them, but otherwise I think it will be okay. We only have a few laps to go here, so we only need 3 laps worth of fuel, and we are going to be going with a balanced pit rather than a quick one. Parts are looking okay, although our rear wing is looking kind of rough, but we'll go ahead and pit. And Mustafa is also going to have to be pitting here too, but not yet because he hasn't come past this point yet. And he's now up into second. That's pretty amazing, although I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this guy off. Okay, you're coming in. You're pitting. I'll keep you on push for now. All right, so we went past the finish line. Let's go ahead and pit here. Let's get the wet tires. Let's fuel up so that we have a few laps worth of fuel. That's going to be more than enough, so we can push a little bit if we want to. And we can do a fast pit here, so that's going to be 6 seconds. So that's pretty good. Did I change the tires? I should have. Let's just make sure that we're changing the tires. So wet, fuel, only that much. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Continue. Because that would be a catastrophic mistake if I did not change tires. It just seemed like a really quick pit, but that's because we're not taking on much fuel. All right, let's go ahead and continue here. So we're going to keep with Boris here. Again, I'm really hoping that there's enough water on the track by the time he pits. He might be pitting a little too soon for that, but we're just going to have to see. Because the water's going to really build up here. Again, might be a little slow at first, but we're both in first and second. We have a lot of gap in here, so I think we'll be okay. We'll go with a neutral stance for now, and we'll go from there. So I'm hoping this water's just going to build up, build up, build up, build up. Right now, you know, they're not happy because they really want intermediates, but I think we'll be okay once the water really starts to come down. Now, there is a car in second right on my butt, and we might lose it here, as a matter of fact. I'm really surprised. But, again, that's probably because of the fact that they have inners and we had wets when we shouldn't have had him. But, you know, it happens. Go ahead and push here and push. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it in a higher gear here. Now, Mustafa did lose some positioning here, and I may expect a pit here from the car in first. I'd be rather surprised if they did not because of how wet it is. Now, we do know about that, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it. The engine conditions should be good enough, though, to be able to push it like we're doing. There we go. Now we're passing him, and that's because he's running the wrong kind of tires. We're running the right kind of tires. He's running the wrong kind of tires. So as a result, we're going to be very much advantaged. And he's not pitting, so it's quite possible that Mustafa here is going to gain a lot of positions because nobody pitted on the intermediates. So we're going to be a lot faster than they are with this very wet weather. Now, this is the last lap, so this is pretty much going to be it. And we're for sure going to get first here. So let's go ahead and switch to Mustafa. And once I get onto the straight, I think I'm going to go full-on overtake here. And hopefully we'll be able to speed past some of these guys. Get into fifth, get into maybe fourth here, and even getting up into third with the finish. So that's fantastic. Now, it's quite possible we will get demoted. If we get demoted, though, Mustafa will go up into second, and Boris will be in first. But for right now, we're in first and third. This is a lot better than I expected to do. So we're not going to get the benefit of more money, obviously, because of that indecision. But we'll just have to see. Really, just that pit at the end, switching to the wet tires, is what made the difference. The AI refused to make that change. Some of them coming out on, fresh tires with the intermediates. Kind of wonder what happened here because it was only one lap before they pitted. Maybe there was some body contact. But let's go ahead and continue. Let's see if we get caught for the rules violations. We'll keep our fingers crossed because this will... And he got penalized 4 places rather than 2. So we are going to not have a double podium, as I had hoped we were going to. But that will mean that Mustafa moves up to second rather than third. So that sucks. We could have done a lot better than we did. But we did finish above Lucatelli with both of our cars. We are also having our brakes being banned, which sucks again, as well as getting a penalty. I really was hoping we would only get demoted twice if we got demoted at all. That way it would have been a second and third finish, and we would have finished above both of Lucatelli's cars, and that would have been fantastic for our points, but unfortunately that is not the case. It really sucks to get caught right after we got caught last time. Now, another car got demoted here, but they were close to the back of the pack. All right, well, that's going to be the last of our risky parts, so there's no way we're going to get caught again. We finished with second place rather than first, even though we honestly did get first place there, but we broke the rules, so it happens. Boris is going to stay in second with that finish, but Mustafa is going to go up to fourth now, so it's going to be a little bit trickier. But we did indeed close the gap here. Now it's only a 4-point gap as opposed to a 8-point gap. Downside is I think we probably would have been in first if we had gotten the first and third finish like we had, we had actually done in the race. All right, well, let's go ahead and continue here. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see if we can get past Lucatelli. There's not that many races left. There's only a couple. But it's still possible. If we have another good race like that, there's no way we're going to get demoted anymore. So whatever we finish at is going to be where we finish at. But it's still disappointing to do so well and then finish so far back comparatively. But all right, so we gain a little bit of marketability and what have you. We get our sponsorship bonus. It could have been better if I had taken the risk and gone up higher. But it is what it is. As a matter of fact, I could have made quite a lot more if I had taken the full risk. But you never really know how you're going to finish. And to be honest with you, at first it didn't look like we were going to finish that well, at least early in the race. All right, well, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and take a look at things. So we just lost our best brakes here, so our car performance is going to drop down quite a bit. And as a result, it's going to probably be hard to finish in first because we only have 2 races left. Now, the things that are crucial for the next race are acceleration and high-speed corners. Now, we only have 17 days to improve our cars beyond what we have. So let's first go ahead and repair our cars. So again, we get a part banned. It seems like that happens every time you get caught. So again, I really don't see the point of taking risky parts. They seem like they just screw you. Now, the only benefit I could see is if next year you still got the stats from that part, even if it got banned. Because it seems like you get caught pretty frequently. And if you get your part banned, that just sucks. That's it's a big waste of money, and you get demoted and all that stuff. You also get a fine. Not really great. All right, so hard fought win, not really. It was a gifted win. You didn't win until the race was over and the scrutineering happened. Anyway, let's go ahead and go and do the car repair here. And then we will see about the sponsors complaining. All right, so our sponsors have been rather disappointed with the hospitality you put on the season. In fact, we're getting a bit of bad reputation, and it's making us seem rather less attractive to major companies. Can you get out of one of the drivers to put in a few appearances over the race weekend to impress the sponsors? There's no way I'm going to do that. I'm just going to take the 100,000. It sucks, but we can't lose that much marketability. I mean, I don't think we have a sponsor upcoming, but we will soon, and there's no way we're going to make up 30% marketability that quickly. So, all right, that sucks, but it happens. Let us take a look at our cars improving. Oh, we didn't repair the car yet? All right, well, we'll do that here soon. Okay, now we have the car repaired, and now we can improve our parts. So we just lost our one brake. It got banned. So we're going to have to switch over to improving the other part now. But the downside is I have to focus on what's going to be upcoming for the next race. So what's upcoming for the next race? First off, let's go ahead and improve the reliability of our other gearbox. Is acceleration and top speed are the things that we can improve. So we're going to go for the gearbox here, which is bad because we had the one part banned, so we're not going to be able to access that. And then we just have to see. I mean, we should improve both of the engines before the race. And then we'll probably just start switching over to other things. For instance, our brakes, our suspension, and get those up as good as they can get. And hopefully it's good enough for the year, because I'm not going to really invest into building more parts as much as I probably could get them in. They won't be reliable enough before the end of the season hits us, so we'll just have to go ahead. So let's continue here until we get the performance work done, or we get to the vote, I guess. So this was a vote on the 12 dry tire choices. Currently, we have much more than that. So I'm definitely going to vote against that, even though it says it would benefit me. I do not believe that. Yeah, putting a greater emphasis on tire wear rates. No, we're going to be voting against that. That actually makes strategy a lot harder, is what it does. Now, if we only had 2 tire types, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But with 3 tire types, it's a massive deal, especially if you don't want to use one of the tire types. Like if you don't want to use hard tires, that sucks. So we're going to go vote against that. We'll just skip to the end here. I expect this to not pass. And it looks like it wouldn't have passed even if I had voted for it. So there we go. There's no way I was going to vote for that. And there we go. So let's take a look at the improving parts. So we haven't quite had that finish yet. What I suspected, I think, is correct. You actually have to have the performance work get done. Then you can come in and switch things around. So because we had a very brief point in time where we had the reliability improve, we had a lot of parts here get much more of a reliability boost than I had intended. So we'll go ahead. We also have to improve the reliability of these brakes quite a bit. And let's see, what else we got here? Gearbox kind of needs it. I'll go suspension and gearbox will be what I improve. But I'm going to go full-on performance here. As a matter of fact, I might go 10-10 so that we can get our brakes up higher. But they'll probably be okay as is. And eventually we'll be able to improve the reliability as much as we can. I think improving the performance is more important at the moment. So we improved the engine and the gearboxes. So we'll go under brakes and suspension, because that's really all we have left to improve. It's saying that that will be done 4 days after the race, but it will get close enough to being finished, and that's good. Just trying to make sure that is indeed what we want. Okay, it seems that it is. So I'm going to go ahead and continue here. And we also have something in the mailbox. Yeah, okay. Continue. And we'll just go until this race weekend comes up. And really, honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot to change with the improvement of the parts. So we'll just keep going ahead as is. And then once these are all improved, we can switch over to full-on reliability, and we'll get a lot of those finished. Really, at this point, it's just the key thing is getting things up as high as we can in reliability, so that there's no way we're going to have any problems with that reliability, but more than likely we won't have that anyway. So let's go ahead and continue here yet again, get this event finished, and then we'll move on to the race itself. And there we are. All right, so let's go ahead and fit our parts. And we have that one gearbox get banned, or actually brakes get banned. So we're going to be doing some switching here. Now, it's quite possible that Mustafa will be unhappy after this, but we'll just have to see. So we're giving... It looks like we can get away with giving Boris the best of everything, because these parts are actually much closer together than they were in the past. Quite a bit of a gap between the gearboxes. Engines are as good as they're going to get. Brakes are as good as they're going to get. Let's take a look at where we are overall. So we went from being 7th briefly back up to 4th. I think part of that might be because Boris did not have a gearbox selected. But overall, we're 4th in top speed, 5th in gearbox. We could have been much better than that if I hadn't gone for the risky part. 6th in brakes. Again, we would be much better if I hadn't gone with the risky part. And then 4th in suspension. Now, I definitely want to win this season. And the main reason I want to win this season is because of the rule changes where the gearbox will be a spec part. Because I'm very concerned if we do advance next season, because I have confidence that we will, that our gearbox, once we advance, will be very hurt. Because the performance of these spec parts seem to be much lower than you can get them if you develop them. And I'm afraid that coming into that season, we'll carry over the stats of the gearbox we had that season. Because I really honestly have not had the chassis designing aspect of the game explained to me. So I really 100% don't know how that works. And I suspect that you carry over the stats that you had from last year. And if that's the case, if we end up with a spec part that's much lower in performance, it will hurt us when we get promoted, and it will actually make it very hard not to get demoted. Now, when we get promoted, the gearbox is not a spec part, hopefully with the factory that we have where we can get things up to the great level, we'll be able to immediately focus on that and try and boost it as quickly as we can. But I'm just not sure. So it's that bit of uncertainty that I don't like, and I would like to get promoted this season and not have that uncertainty. Now, next year, it's quite possible we'll have problems because of our wings. Our wings, we've never developed them. And if we come into the next season and those are no longer spec parts, we have to start developing something that we didn't have to in the past. So these are some things that I'm uncertain about, that I'm a little bit concerned about. But I think we're going to go ahead and put a cut in the video here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner signing out.